Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of the Single Summit IG Life, Inheriting God Life. I'm so elated to have you guys back with us. I remain James, and with me I have welcome, Tosin. It's good to have you on this side of the divide this time around.
This is where I'm supposed to be.
Welcome back, guys. We're happy to have you on set. Hope you're happy to be here. I can see a lot of people have joined. Like I said, DBC Thompson. Brilliant is always here on time. Brilliant, we should give you an award. I can see Joseph Adeshino. I can see Oluwa. And there are a lot of names on Instagram that I cannot relate with. But awesome, guys. I want you to put up how the last series blessed you, right? Last time we talked about what if I hate the way I look. That episode was a lot, right?
I really enjoyed that episode. I don't want to say that has been my best. That topic has been my best so far out of all the series we've done.
Interesting. Wow. I thought the best for a sister would be Dream Wedding, but it's fine. It was also almost the sister's topic.
Yeah, actually.
But then was
Cane for sisters.
That's background voices from our guests. I'm sure you're wondering who our guests are. But don't worry, we'll tell you. You know the name, but some of you are wondering who is Sister Bolu, who is Bro Chibike. You will see them shortly. Just hold on. So, right, the last episode for me was really eye-opening, right? So when we watched the play brought a lot of realities, right? Things that people literally struggle with.
Very relatable.
They even featured me in the play because I'm that person that wants to get fat and all of that. And then having the guys on the set, having you and Desola on the set, hearing a lot of life experiences, and then having Pastor Mike come to crown it all up in the last episode was just the height for me. It brought a lot of understanding for me as a believer. How there's what the Lord requires from you. There's a way the Lord made you, and there are reasons why the Lord made you like that. And then the world can want to put up new definitions that just sways you from your purpose, actually. And most times, if you follow those worldly definitions, you go like this, and then the Lord is going this or that way. It was a blessing for me. How was it for you?
It was, like you said, it was really eye-opening because I didn't know that the way I looked, like in the negative and in the positive, had that great impact. Because what Pastor Mike was saying, and I was like, is it not just ordinary?
Just tease and composure.
Because I saw how it's really, like, if you don't, if you don't use the mind of God to really look at yourself in like how you look, you will go off from the will of God. So that was really,
you could just start waka where suppose waka. Brilliant. We see that you want your award. Put what blessed you in the last episode, then we'll consider your award. Anyway, this episode we are talking about, am I ready to leave home?
Wow.
Today I'll be introducing the lady. They introduced the guy.
I'll do the guy's part.
As society would tell us, ladies first. So today we have Sister Bolu. Sister Bolu, say hello to our Instagrammers.
Hi, hello everyone.
Welcome, Sabolu.
Thank you.
See the way she's soft. That's nice.
Good to have you on set. And we have brother Chibike. I think everybody calls him Chibs.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome,
Thank you.
So we should call you Chibs.
Chibs is fine.
I think I prefer
Say hello to our Instagrammers.
Hi everyone. Happy to be here.
Okay. We're happy to have you. See the way they are sounding calm. If you see them before the session started, this place was off the roof. So we'll be going into the discussion. Am I ready to leave on?
Tough one.
But for starters, I would like to ask, ladies first again. Have you left home or are you still at home?
I've left home.
Okay.
And I've not left home.
Wow.
Okay, please
That's
explain.
There's a bit of story to it.
Please engage us.
So, well, I've not always been at home. From secondary school, being in boarding school, to being shipped off in university to campus. After campus, I stayed a bit with brethren. Then I stayed a bit with my sister. Then recently, let's say about 2-3 years ago, my parents insisted that enough is enough. We don't even know. We don't even know who our daughter is. We don't even know who our daughter is. We don't even know anything about you. Come home. Let us even know you.
Wow.
So yes, that was when I now moved back home. So I think I've had a bit of all the experiences. Stayed with brethren, stayed with my sister, stayed on my own,
Wow.
stayed with my parents.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're an example of I've left home and I've come
I've
back
left
home.
home.
Been there, done
Been
that.
there, done that, I'm back.
The CV complete.
Because even now that I'm at, in quotes, home with my parents, some way, I won't say I'm home, but we thank God for everything. Please.
Brad Chips, what's your story?
Well, it's a funny story actually. Yeah, so I mean, growing up, right, I was, as this young boy, I was clingy,
Wow.
like, particularly to my mom.
Wow.
You always see me around her. You understand? I would have my
boy.
hands
Are
around
you the only
her.
boy?
Well, I was for a long time.
Okay.
You understand? I was for a long time. I don't know whether I'm older, like 7 or 8 years. So
That's a long time.
I mean, so I had a lot of time to be mommy's
Yeah.
boy. So my dad felt that if I grew up that way, I'll turn out to be very bad.
Bad in what sense?
Bad in the sense that maybe I'll not grow up to be a man.
Oh.
So what did
You
he
won't have the
do?
manly virtues.
So what did he do? He shipped me off to boarding school.
So wait. Is it that daddy was like, you are taking my wife's
Yeah,
attention?
Yeah, you're spending too much
Oh, yeah?
time.
But yeah.
So he shipped me off to boarding school.
Interesting.
And I didn't just 1, 2, 3 as I in boarding school. So by the time I came back, wow. I did not just leave, I absconded.
Changed man.
It's like you didn't even leave you.
I absconded from
Like I'm
home.
done with you. Interesting. Wow. So for me, right? Because of course I have a story. I'm human. Am I still at home? No. I have a similar story with Chips. So I know I was not clingy, right? Because I don't know.
Wow.
You look like
Yeah,
you have that look.
So interestingly, I'm the first child, so there were a lot of children to cling to my mother, and we are all boys, so it's not like the ladies. So there was no space for that.
Okay.
So I think my parents just had this idea of if you want to train up a child properly, send him to boarding house. So all
I
of
can
us,
imagine.
Wow.
but of all my siblings, I'm the only one that stayed in boarding school throughout. Just one
Wow.
to
SS.
SS3.
Wow.
My younger ones did mostly their SS1 to SS3. So and then immediately after school, I entered university. After university, NYSC, that took me out of Lagos. And then I came back home after NYSC.
Fully absconded.
No. I was even a good child, right? I was doing my professional exams. Like so I didn't start working immediately. So I had to stay out of home again. Then I finished that and I came back home as a good boy. Then I got a job and I'm like, oh, let me go to my friend's place that is closer to the office and no, you're not going anywhere.
Wow.
Like-
Wow. A graduate.
After NYSC.
After NYSC, like I have left the house for the past 33 years. And what's the issue now? It was very serious, right?
Wow.
So I just, you would just be wise and just say, oh, okay, let me stay home. And I stayed at home.
But your eyes had opened to something.
I just realized that it was confusing for me, right? So I stayed back at home. Then I started working. Then I still had some professional exams to take. So after work, I go for classes. Then I get home, say 9, 10. And by my parents say, tell your friend that his house is close to Zayot's rest.
Yeah, the one
Sure,
that
you will not be
said she
staying
come
there. So you will not be coming home late. I'm like,
They use job as
the way I carried my so like that's how I left home. That's how I left home. And then every now and then you hear things like, how are you? You won't even come home. I will come.
I get that every 2 days.
Like-
Oh, you've not called for like 2 weeks.
Funny enough, I had an episode yesterday. My mom called, hey, how are you? Hey, because my younger brother stays with me. So my mom is like, hey, your brother said he's not feeling fine. Oh. So I said he should come home. He's now at home. So when I saw in the morning, I'm like, okay, no problem. Next day, the way your voice is sounding, I be used to you will not come home. I say, yes, ma'am, come in. But every time they get that opportunity, they want to say, come on, come on.
Always come.
But then I've just realized that it's just them looking out for me, right?
Being very
And then when I need to go home, of course I will go home. Enough about me. Tosin, your experience.
Well, I know that immediately I finished school, I desperately wanted to stay on my own. I just didn't want to stay with
Independence.
my parents. You get that kind of thing. Of course, I think I like home. The funny thing is that anytime I'm out of the house, I really want to come back home. But when I go back home, I want to run away. That kind of thing. So I think I used my auntie as an excuse. Okay, so she sews. So I just told my mom, I think I want to learn how to sew. Let me not even lie. I don't want to learn how to sew anything. I just wanted to just leave that house. Wow. Just to stay somewhere nearby that I can have liberty to do, a lot of things.
A lot of things you want to do, right?
She said, no problem. You want to learn a skill? Oh, wow, that's what that, of course. Which parents don't want to learn a skill?
So funny enough, I don't realize that parents. So when I first started working immediately after I finished school, I did a lot. I worked before in NYSC. So when I have, say, let's say I go for a church program and I get home, say 8, 9, everyone's like, this is too late. It's coming from church. this. And then I went to work on the island. And by 8 o'clock, we're in traffic. I'm getting home 9:30, 10. Hey, Pele, how was the traffic? Sorry.
Your food is ready.
I don't get it. We're late.
You know about this late coming thing? I think I have first-hand experience. In my house, in my dad's house, we have coffee. Coffee is 8 o'clock.
Wow.
If you are not home before 8 o'clock,
You sleep there?
Just stay where you're coming from.
I wish it was a case of you will sleep there, because I wouldn't even mind that they won't be offended. I can sleep where I want to sleep, but it is going to be war. So those are some of the things that I had seen that were like, moving back home was trial. It was a serious dealing for me, because I'm like, will I come back to this 8 o'clock? We all know the way our meetings go, So, but of course, there's always wisdom.
Of course.
Even in my coming back home with this time-taking dealing, there are also ways to handle parents too. That I hope my parents are not watching this.
I really hope
they must not watch only
my mom.
They must not watch.
You have a share you not come. You buy new phone. I like your phone. Share you not come. You not come and show me. There's public holiday today. Share you will not come. I cooked stew today. Share you not come. Everything comes back to share you not come. I hope she's not coming here.
She wasn't asking her parents, please, can we look for a way to barricade parents from
Above 40, she's not my last
yes. Please, all my secrets cannot come and be out.
Hey.
So, Chips, that means you don't have any pressure of going back home. Like, whenever you are, like, as per you have even left the house, do you sometimes feel a pressure in you to just let me come back home? Is that feeling there, or you have gone bad?
Let me be truthful. Let me be truthful. I don't want to go back.
Wow.
There's no pressure at all to go back. Although, think about it, right? Food. Free food. Yes. Let's say it for what it is. Free food. Comfort.
Yeah.
Do you understand? I mean, these days, okay, let me just say, maybe just being on your own, living alone, right? It's not that you breathe in this Lagos. Let me add that. You breathe in, you breathe out, 10K has gone. Oh my God. I think you just breathe in, you spent 170K. I feel like, how did they do it? I mean, at home, you just find that there's breakfast, there's lunch, there's somehow.
There's even in between.
There's in between. There's like they're begging you with food. There's something to eat.
My phone fell down in the house and the screen broke. Sure, my dad is going to pay for it because
it broke in his house.
It's broke in his house.
I'm broken in my own place. I have to pay for it. So
you know that there's also a difference between when you stay alone and when you are staying with somebody.
True.
Because that's another thing that can put a kind of pressure on you. When you're staying on your own, you're still calling the shots.
Yeah.
It's just the only thing is that is suffering is your pocket.
Your pocket,
But when you're staying with somebody, you can't. For example, you can't determine what you will eat.
Yes.
Imagine maybe you are staying with a pastor or even a sister or just
your auntie, family
or your
member.
auntie. You can't determine what you will eat. You can't say, I feel like eating this, let me go and cook. It's whatever the house is eating, you eat. You can still, people can, you can still get some lashes here and there. And in your mind, you just be like, if I was in my family.
I went somewhere.
My mommy, I don't want this soup. Mommy, there is another soup in the fridge.
I went somewhere and then dinner, and then everybody expected, and I came out and I saw Amala.
Okay.
This is Igbo boy in him.
What is this doing here? No, I even went somewhere. They bought the amala, then they bought egusi with it. And I'm like, wow.
Quickly make a little eba.
It looks like sacrifice.
You don't like amala? Why don't you say Wait, have you not been living in Lagos all your life? What happened?
I've not seen someone that does not like
Let's not talk about that.
Because
No, so amala can be very, if you have the wrong experiences, actually, it can be something that will push you off the books. But let's come back to why. So, will you say that amala is good enough for a reason? What? To go back home?
No. I mean, talking about the food, right? There are some things that maybe when you think about home, you be like, oh my God. Like me, for instance, now granite soup. Oh my God.
You cannot make it on your own.
You cannot make it. There is nothing you want to do that will make it.
Granite soup.
Only your mom knows how to make it. And then you think some days when you come and then you see spag, and not just spag, boys spag.
It's soggy spag, Abi.
No, boy spaghetti is not really soggy.
Spaghetti.
We try our best.
Boy spaghetti is something out of this world. You understand? It can make you hate spag as a food. So maybe you come home, you just see, you see the spag. Do you understand?
Manage food.
It has like 3 colors, and in your mind you're like, you just think about granite soup, and you're like, God.
And then there's some times that you just see that. So someone like me, right? I don't buy corn on the road. Like once it's corn period, you just come back home. Just like mommy has bought this
you mean pear
and she's boiling some with pear, and you don't have to worry about it. You just it's corn season. You just eat.
This is our wonderful economy.
And healthy food.
I mean,
healthy food.
I went to price corn recently. They said 1,500, 1 corn, 1. For what? If I was at home, there would be a pot full with corn. You walk into the kitchen and just have one.
So someone will value the enjoyment.
I mean, there's enjoyment to staying at home, actually. I feel I should just take 1 minute to just think of all I miss.
And just think of everything.
Oh my God.
But then,
but
then it has flip sides, though.
That's the flip side, actually.
Yeah.
But then it comes with a lot of, will I call it, freedom to make some decisions, right? Mm-hmm. So I would ask, do your parents consider you to be mature to make decisions, or they still call the shots for you?
That's deep. Well, I think that for me, right, my parents stopped calling the shots a long time ago. Do you understand? Because I left home early. Do you understand? And well, maybe I don't even, it's not everything that I not even go and say, I want to do this, I want to do that. I know people that maybe their parents check in 10 a.m., 3 p.m., they are graduates.
Wow.
10 a.m. Where are you? Wow. What are you doing? What are you eating? I mean, that's...
Have you got to know?
Yeah, have you got to know? Have you left? At this place, it looks like you're inside bus. Where are you going to? You understand? Check in 10 a.m., 9 p.m.
Wow.
That's a vote for me.
Nah.
Check-in is when?
Check-in is December 22.
We'll leave by January 2nd.
See you next year.
So, my own kind of bit of experience of that, from when I was in uni, I didn't even know what was going on. I just noticed that I would hardly call home. Maybe if I call home, maybe once in 2 weeks. Or once in a week. I didn't know that it was an intentional separation that needed to take place then. But to me, I just thought it was just the business of school and everything. Yeah. But I saw how it paid off. Okay. Because even after I finished school, and even now that I'm even in the house, so to speak, there's a limit. And I think everybody's beginning to realize their boundaries. It wasn't always like that. At a time, the kind of family I come from, it's a kind of family when we're all
together
into each other.
Strong.
Yes. And then of course my parents, if you give them free hand, they can want to hold you even in when you're in your husband's house.
Wow.
So you have to and some of those things you have to early. Please, they must not be watching. So some of those things you need to do them early. And I was like, even after I finished school, I won't call home sometimes. When I wasn't staying at home, I won't call home sometimes. And even now that I'm staying in the house, it's not everything I do. I practically tell them. Of course, it's everything I do or everywhere I want to go. Most of the times, I will tell my pastor. You know, my pastor knows my in and outs, my itinerary, everything. But my parents don't. You know, there are times that they feel I'm at work. I'm at the meeting.
Okay.
There are times that they feel, you know, just different kind of, because you need to use wisdom to handle them. And it's not just because I just don't want to tell them sometimes. Sometimes I know that their hearts can't take it.
Oh, wow.
There are some things I want to do that I know that if I tell them, they say, no, so
Like
to
why you on the
avoid
road
all
by
that,
11 p.m.
why you on the road by 11 p.m.? My parents don't see any reason. Like I said earlier, that we have coffee in my house.
Yeah.
They don't see anything you are doing outside the house.
Keep it that late.
8 o'clock. Especially when it comes to anything church.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say they are pastors, but I think it's just it's just that understanding, general understanding. If it's work, they won't mind like, oh, work, but you know, one thing you're going for me to say, don't you know that service should have closed by 8? Which Bible study are you doing before 8 o'clock? You know, all those things. So sometimes you have to use wisdom. I've had to use wisdom to handle it in a way that has also helped them. Sometimes it's like one day my mom told me that we don't even know whether you are going to work or whether you shall be going. You know, those kind of
shall come home.
Shall come back home. Shall try to carry us along, you know. But I know that for their own good, it's not every time I can really carry them along. That kind of thing.
I remember telling my mom, I think I was traveling for work, right? The first time I used to be an auditor, so I had to travel to do audits. The first time I had to travel, I went to Port Harcourt.
Okay.
I just mentioned it that I was traveling. Hey, how are you? Have you boarded the flight?
Yeah.
Have you landed? Hope the hotel is good. Hope.
God.
I felt like it's more like people are the ones auditing me than I'm the one doing the audit here. My dad be like, be very careful. No, they can be very deep in that Port Harcourt. And very well, they really cared. Like they cared to know that I was doing fine, right? But then the consistent calling wasn't necessary. By the time I was traveling the next time,
You did not tell.
that day I just got to Abuja.
What?
Yeah, there's even a trip I took recently. I forgot that I'd not told them. I forgot that not told them. I went to Gombe. I forgot I'd not told them. And Gombe is not Abuja or Port Harcourt. I just remembered on the flight that, wow, I've not told my parents. I just said, hello, mom. I just had to go on a trip now.
Jesus.
I'm on my way to Gombe. I'll have to stop over in Abuja first. Then I'll go to Gombe. I made it sound like I'll be in Abuja for a while, then I'll go to Gombe. All I knew was it was just a connecting flight. And I just dropped all of it. Oh my God. The whole family was, have you gotten there? Don't leave the hotel for any reason. Be in the place. And yeah, right. They really cared, right? They really cared. But I know that if I had told them, say earlier,
they would have done.
I might not even go to Gombe.
Wow.
And then I really needed to go for that trip. It was a necessary trip I needed to go for. And it wasn't really work. There was work part of it, but there was more church than work. It was the work of the Lord actually. It's work. And if I had mentioned it, oh my God, we won't have that episode. We won't hear the last of it. So when I have to do things that I know that it's not going to be so convenient for them to say yes or no. And I have checked because somewhere that you have come into a place of maturity, right?
Yeah.
First of all, I need to explain that all this thing we are talking about, you are 12, 13, you are 14, 15.
Stay in school, kids.
Please.
Off
This session is not for you. Maybe you can watch it when your mom and child drive. Before
your mom like to be sitting
young
down and
adults
watching
here.
To young adults.
Please. Now back to the adult discussion. So you've come to a place of making decisions for yourself, right?
Yeah.
You can actually seek their opinions
Sometimes.
when necessary. But you know when you make the right decisions because you're an adult, right? Because I feel like if you don't begin to make these decisions early enough, you will get to a point where you have to start your own family and then
and then just to add to it,
sure.
even how you, because when you said you have to tell them something, even how you tell them, in my opinion, because I had an experience where maybe a close friend of mine, do you understand, he got a job and maybe the money, do you understand, was big, like 700k upwards big, and then but he made a mistake. Do you understand? Now it's I just got 700k. Something happened maybe like 3 weeks later, mommy went to the market, bought things. Now gave his number to the supermarket. Call my son.
He will pay.
Call my son, he will pay.
Wow.
So he had to now tell them. When we talked about it, he was
God.
next time just tell them that how much they give you. The grace of God is sufficient for us. So that's how we tell them money.
I, for example, I'm sorry. Is again my parents not but they don't know how much I earn.
Why would they know?
Why would they
There's some
know?
things that you just don't necessarily need to say.
You don't need to tell them how many days you work remotely. If you want to avoid going home every week.
Well, I think I'm of a different opinion, maybe because of my own parents.
Wow.
My parents are, I don't know, let's just thank God for my parents. So they know my salary. They don't depend on my money. They just know it's for, okay, this is what you earn. Okay. But
in my own case, it's not because they would depend on, no, they don't depend on my money at all. But it's just that
they can make decisions.
There are a lot of things that
they can make
I
decisions.
don't necessarily. For example, if they know how much I earn, I'm very sure they'll start talking about me getting another job.
Wow.
Besides, but this particular job works for my arrangements, and if I don't start telling them, okay, I don't feel I'm led to.
They'll start asking you how much have you saved.
They know how much they have spent on you, and you come and you tell them you're earning 70K.
Jesus.
Wow.
Don't call family.
You will go back home, family meeting.
Afterwards, compare. Or you want to come and tell them that, okay, you are doing a job voluntarily, they are not paying you.
Wow.
How do they want to?
4 years, all my money.
So all they just know is that month end, there is the money I send to them. That's all. Like, nothing touches that one. As long as the money, it's not as if they really, it's just significant somehow.
I think it depends on the parents, really. That's what I think, Sha. Maybe
they've not called you before.
Lads,
looking at how much you're earning now, I think you should buy a car now.
Nothing like that.
There is this land that just came out.
I mean,
You just you know my friend Nawadike, the one that sells land. There's this land that just came out in this place.
I don't have
without your salary.
Joberego.
Please interpret.
Like,
do you have small money?
Like,
Do you have small money?
Let's just buy small land.
They know what you earn. They make calculations.
No, by now you should have saved 300,000 naira monthly so that we can buy. You started this work in January. This is 6 months. You should have kept at least 900,000. Add something small on it. They will begin to make those decisions
and
for
there are
you.
sometimes that you don't even have a reason for not telling them some things.
Of course.
But just they don't necessarily need to.
Because you need to somewhere. I feel like you just need to cut off that thing.
Yeah.
They need to see.
They need to see that you're matured, right?
You're matured.
That's it.
And I feel like that mature thing. You don't. If you do it at once, they'll fight you.
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
You have to.
You just wake up one day, okay, I'm not talking again. No. Sometimes you have to have
Yes.
to start with. Oh, I'm not telling you how much I'm earning. Gradually, I'm not telling you
You
where I
don't
went.
need to tell them I'm not telling you I'm not telling you.
No.
You just not tell them.
For a long
Just
time,
not
my
tell
parents
them.
didn't know where I was working.
Wow.
For example, they just knew I was working under a particular government organization, but the location of where it was, it has 2 locations, so they didn't particularly know which one.
you were
And I
working.
didn't just.
Why don't come and
tell
visit
them.
in the office?
At the minute they eventually they found out where I was working. Now I'll now see cases like my mom just surprisingly just come.
Wow.
I'm like,
Wow.
So in my mind, I'm just like,
I missed you.
I have a good
I was
reason.
passing by.
Passing by.
One day, my mom said she wanted to bring food to me, and I'm like,
Wow.
thank God, I think it was an angel that made her forget. I forgot it on the table. And I was like, what's that?
Well,
Like,
my
so
parents don't pry, Sha. They don't pry. I think somewhere maybe they believe I'm mature and I'm capable of making decisions for myself, so they don't even pry.
Lucky you.
So,
Lucky you.
I don't think it's easy for
No,
parents to
no.
believe that you're mature. In some parents, whether you're 25 or 27 or 28, you are still their baby.
If you are
They
in
will tell
my
you that I
parents,
cleaned your
if you are
bum when you
40,
were small.
my parents, if you are 40,
Jesus.
You're still their.
if you are 40, see, let's not talk about that. But I love it. You know the thing. Let me remember, just in case. The thing is that they are actually doing it out of revenge.
Of course.
I know it's
And
love.
it's actually because
I
they
mean,
love you.
it's love.
Really. It's just that sometimes
It's overbearing.
you need to
set boundaries.
it's good to receive love, but there's an extent.
Yes.
Speaking of receiving loves and setting boundaries, what do you guys think about daddy's girl and mommy's boy?
Hey,
And then boundaries you should set.
it's good for a while.
Okay. Let's
For a while.
hear you.
Let me hear.
For a while, when you're little,
Of
like
course,
I used to be
of course.
daddy's girl.
Yeah.
I used to be daddy's girl, and then when I was even going to boarding school, it was war between my parents. My dad didn't want me to go. My mom wanted me to go. So there was that because I was like my daddy's, you know. But of course, when I came back from boarding school, that thing had
Yeah, but in school we remove to tear it off
you know.
We
so
shred it.
eventually. So now, as an adult, as an adult, that this girl thing, let me not lie, it does not work.
For you.
It will not be good for you.
Wow.
I mean, anyway, I'm not a pastor, so it's not like I'm saying what is the kini.
Of
It's just
course,
my
of course.
opinion, you know, because eventually, daddy would want to know everything
Get your
about
husband to
he will,
be-
and when you bring husband home,
When you bring man home.
this one is not
You
good enough.
cannot
want
be
the best for my daughter.
So it's and then of course mommy's boy on the other
same
on the
Yeah,
other
the
hand.
other
Yeah. That one's the
Can
worst.
you cook?
Like your
You
wife
boy.
will suffer it. Your wife that will suffer it.
Yeah,
Imagine your mom when you're married.
To make you
She's calling
spoiled.
you breakfast, lunch,
Say,
dinner.
my mommy,
You cannot make any
they-
decision for your home without carrying mommy along.
Hey,
And it's not when
wow.
you get married that you will
That, I don't know how to eat
stop
any
that
other
thing.
stew apart from my mommy's stew.
You're not gonna do IT with.
You see that kind of thing now. I will go JBC.
What is that? So I can just imagine.
He's the wife that was so fine.
You imagine as a husband of your home, you just tell your wife, my mommy said I should eat rice this morning.
That means the mom is actually the head of the house.
This is the head of
So
the
that's
house.
Things fall apart.
Oh my God.
And I think it actually starts from now, right?
Yeah.
People that every public holiday, small salary, you don't carry bag, go house. 2 days salary, you are at home. You are not a Muslim, boy, you are at home.
Small independence.
Small independence, the Oktoberfest, small independence.
If you
You
do
dey
it
do am
when
from
you
your
are
house.
if you do it when you are married, if you wait till when you are married before you do it, they will think it's the person that you married.
Yes,
That is doing
that your
it.
wife is not allowing you
Your
come home
wife is the
anymore.
one that's attached you from the family.
That's true.
Or your husband now, you don't know anybody.
That's
because
true.
So you need to
You have shown them that, yeah, early.
when we say early enough again, we're not saying in your teen.
Please stay at home, kids.
You better go home every Saturday.
Stay at home, kids.
Like my younger brother stays with me. Small public holiday. Oh yeah, go to your father's house. Just go to your father's house. But when you come of age, you should just be able to draw the boundaries, right? Because if the first time I tried not being at home for crossing over 31st, right? So this is what happened.
That one is hard.
I was 7, right? I was 7. So I was 7 in Oyo State, Ibadan, right? So I went home for Christmas, right? And then a cousin of ours was getting married on the 29th. And then I was in NCCF house. I needed to be back like on the 4th of January, right? And then there was an event I wanted to go for in Ikorodu on the 2nd of January. And then leaving my house on the 2nd of January is already an issue. So by that, all of us went to Ibadan for the what's it called? For the wedding. By 30th, the whole family was going, but I said, no, I'm going. They should be going. Bye-bye, yo. And then the whole family went back to Lagos. Then me, I was in Ibadan the 1st of January. The whole crossover, come and see calls. So what have you eaten this New Year day?
Hey.
And I was not staying with the family. I was in my friend's house, a copper's house. I just mistakenly said, I've not even really eaten anything today. Hey! Unless my younger brother just called me, your mommy is crying. Her son has not eaten on New Year's Day. I say, I just called them. I'm on my way to Chicken Republic now. It was
The first time I did that 31st thing, it felt like I was removing all the ancient landmarks. I was like, 31st.
How
You are doing it where?
we will not see you
We
too.
will not see you. 31st.
I just knew that. Oh
You
my
know, all of us
God.
will go for VG together. You bring
and
your,
cross over together.
you cross over together. We do the
The new-
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
You bring your work tools to church. They will bless it for the next year. What are you doing? And then you must.
No, it was dramatic. Please. That's when I knew that, okay, we need to start setting boundaries. And one thing I've come to know is that I was in boarding house. You don't go home for public holidays. I was in the university and then I was very active in my fellowship. Public holidays when we're having one special meeting. So you're really not going home until. So I know that they will be fine if I don't come home.
Exactly.
I mean,
The family will still be one great family when I eventually come home. So I just knew that you need to just put those
boundaries.
because in cases where you need those public holidays to do things, like now I juggle a lot of things. I have work, I have church, I have things I do, and then public holidays I just want to rest. Is that one day public holiday and I want to enter motor and be going to my parents' house, then be rushing back with the traffic? I should take it to rest.
I don't know why people do that. Is it the food? Go and watch tutorial and cook your food. Because one day you'll be in your own house.
Like you find yourself in your own.
You find yourself in your own house.
The time I have to ask my mother, so what if I was abroad now? So this I should quickly take flights to Nigeria for independence. Surprise. So I think we just setting those boundaries earlier just makes it easier for you as a young adult. Actually,
I've been so blessed, so blessed. Are we even going? Are we taking a break?
Let's go on break.
I've lost track of time.
Guys, we're going on a break. We'll be back shortly.
Welcome back, guys. Again, I hope you've been blessed so far. This particular episode has been really, really engaging. I hope you are listening. So back to our topic for today. We still have our guests with us on set, and we'll just delve into the next question. So the next question is talking about being. Sorry, let me just read it as it is written here. So, when do you think a parent is becoming overly protective? How does one set boundaries respectfully?
Action word, respectfully.
So, in case you have maybe experiences and stories you can share.
When a parent is becoming overly protective, well, I just think that I just feel like as you grow old, or as you grow older, they become overly protective. That's what I think.
Okay.
I just think no matter what it is, no matter how it shows, no matter how it happens, it will show. It can be from come to church every Sunday. You must come to this church every Sunday. Or the one I said of, where are you? What are you doing? Where are you going? Yes, and it will always happen. It can show in any way. Or you will never marry a person that is not from this tribe. Yes, I've heard of these people. They used to kill their husband. So you must not. You've heard of so sometimes parents can even go as far as maybe calling extended family. Come and talk to this boy. Come and talk to this boy. Yes, and so I feel like it will happen anyways. Whether however it shows, it will happen. So, but then setting the boundaries, like I said, right? I don't think you can do it at once.
Okay.
If you do it at once,
it will be hurtful.
It will be hurtful. You might need deliverance because it can become a family prophet issue. Do you understand?
And you dishonor them.
Black sheep of the family. So that thing is a gradual thing. Is a gradual thing. That's just what I think, Sha.
Any overprotective episodes?
I have plenty. How I would see overprotectiveness, I believe. Well, I don't have children, so I don't know how it. Maybe it may be tougher than the way I would say it, but I feel that once a child has finished university, and a child is not a graduate. You have gone to serve. You have come back.
Especially when you went to serve.
Even if you even served in the same state, I just feel that at that stage, you should allow the children, you should allow them grow. Allow them make their mistakes. It doesn't mean, the truth is that life cannot be perfect. Like, you don't make any mistake. But sometimes it feels like our parents, they don't want you to make any mistake. They don't want you to do this. And it's out of love. But I feel that when a child has hit some landmarks, you should let them be. Let them be. It doesn't mean that they will totally abandon the parents and, but you can caution them a few times, try to draw them back when they are going overboard. But the truth is that they are adults. A child at 25, why?
Child?
It's not even a child. You get
The father in some
25, 24. So I'm like, some people in some places, they get married as early as 18.
Yeah.
So you're still going to be coming to your house to know what you ate and all of those things. So I feel like once you start trying to be in your child's space, and the child, as a graduate, the child is a graduate, and you're still trying to be in the child's space, trying to be in every decision, trying to control every decision. I feel that is overprotectiveness.
So how
do I handle it?
Respectfully?
Again, because we are believers, it's a different way outsiders would handle it. So many times I tell in my mind, I'm just like to my parents, thank God your child is a believer. Thank God for the Holy Ghost.
I've told my daddy before.
Do you get? Because I just feel. But so there's a way as believers we ought to handle it. You can't just damn all the consequences and just look away and you don't care about whether they are offended. You don't care about their hearts. You can't really do that. So that is why, like Chief said, you do it gradually with wisdom. And there's a way the Lord, if you also, talk to the Lord about it, there are instructions the Lord will give you that would help. I remember there was a particular time I wanted to attend a church program. And then I just looked at it. That was when my parents just told me to move back into the house. Wow. I knew that they were not going to, because I was going to have to come back late. And so I prayed about it. I said, Lord, I need to attend this program. I prayed, Lord, what should I do? What should I do? And then the Lord just gave me one wisdom. Oh. This one, it was as I was praying in tongues, the wisdom just came of what to tell them. And it was not a lie. So it's just that you just need to know there's ways to coin things and present it. The way you present things is important. So the Lord just gave me a wisdom that I used, and then we're like, oh, okay, no problem, it's fine. So there are some times that, especially as a lady, I think it's a bit different for the genders. It's different with genders. But as a lady, there are ways that you can use wisdom. You may not be too confrontational about certain things, but there are ways you can use wisdom to, curb those things, those overprotectiveness, especially work. I think work is a very, very good tool.
Yes,
work is a very, very good tool. It's a very good tool to use.
Work or studies.
So you need to know the things they appreciate sometimes, and use those things they appreciate. The weapons of our warfare.
I mean, you just call them and rant about work. Work is so stressful. I go back home by 10. I don't have time for anything. Or you can joke about, in my own case now, maybe I'll just tell my mom something like, 2,000 years ago, people that are my age, they are out fighting wars. But you want me to be coming home.
But then again, there are sometimes that, let me just speak for myself. There are sometimes actually, it's my opinion, there are times that you actually have to stand your ground on some things. There are sometimes you use wisdom to avoid, but there are times that it's not going anywhere, you need to face it and tell them. I remember there are times that I've told, not just my parents, because like I said, the way my family is, we are so into each other, so, and I needed to break from that thing. So there are times I had to stand up to my siblings first, and then to my parents, that I am an adult. If I don't want to attend this family function, it's because I have something I'm doing. So sometimes you just have to take a stand. Sometimes too, many times we are afraid of that confrontation. So you need to know the balance to it. There are times you avoid, but there are times that you have to face it squarely and tell them. And they will respect you. They may not immediately agree with you on that instance, but eventually they will respect you and they will be careful the things they bring to your quarters.
Sometimes when they want to know that you can handle yourself.
Very true.
I have an example around that. I remember when I because before I entered university, I used to use is the key word. I used to be a drummer. Don't expect me to drum right now. I used to be a drummer for my home church. So now getting admission to University of Lagos, and then I discovered that my mom was ganging up with the pastor of my home church. And when they say, we will pay your tea fare. Isn't not Unilag? What's Unilag to your house? Every Sunday we'll pay your tea fare from the house to the church. I didn't even know too much back then. I just felt like people should free me. I'm a university student. You can't be paying my tea fare to be coming to the church. And I just had to tell them, like, no, I want to attend the church in school.
Actually,
I want to because of my studies.
It's true.
I want to read after church, which I never did. But then, please free me.
I think one thing that you could actually use to set boundaries is just you need to be ready to make those decisions, right? Yeah. So there's some things that there's a way you go to tell your mom that Mommy, I want to do this, and she's like, no, don't do it. You know, please, no. There's sometimes you come like, oh, Mommy, I will be doing this. I will lost.
Exactly.
There's information just so you are aware. It's not permission.
Yes.
So that you are. So you know that you're not here. So, because look at it. Especially when it's church conferences.
That is not their church.
I want to go for a church conference in August for 1 week. It is an issue. But I want to go for a work conference. And you are telling me that this box will not be enough. Say you will carry this box. I don't get it. It's not the same 1 week I'm going to be away from home. So you know that leaving home is not the issue. So you need to be able to make those decisions of I won't be.
And then James, standing by the decision. You cannot move out of the house and move back in because of billing. When life don't hit you.
But billing. I thought it's cost of living, 1 kid living. Why cost of living, 1 kid living?
Sandra Lily don't high now.
Please ask the next question.
Next question. How financially dependent on your parents are you? At what stage do you think a young person should start footing his or her own bills?
Your mom is still buy you recharge card.
Or data.
Hey, mommy, my data just finished. Please
you can never leave home. You can never leave home. You can never make it.
I'm telling you.
But what do you think? What stage is
you want to go first or should I?
Okay, let me go first because I think my own is softer than your own kidney. So, well, I believe that if you want your independence, you have to be ready to be financially independent. Independence is not just I can't do it.
That's
I can't do it.
No,
it's not.
No,
it's not that.
I'm not going.
It's not mouth.
But send me to K.
You know?
What?
It's not mouth. It's not by mouth. You have to be ready to face the consequences of your decisions. Yeah. So when you finish school, if you feel that you finish school, you've gone for service, you've come back, you feel that you should now be seen as an adult, then I think that that's a good time to begin to foot your bills.
Yeah.
So I feel, for example, I don't collect pocket money, you know, I don't collect all those things from my parents.
Just fun kids.
But because, but because I am still within their space, you know, there are times that maybe my car is bad, for example, and I'm still trying to save up money to feed, because I won't go and meet them. Daddy, I want you to repair my car for me. Or Mommy, I want you to. No, because it's part of adulthood. You have to be ready to foot your bills. Yeah. So, but I know that there are times, being very sincere, there are times that maybe my dad he'll just be watching me. He knows I will not come to ask him. He'll just be watching me. At a point, I'll just hear he has paid the mechanic to come and fix the car. I would have been wondering, like, okay. But he will now just say it that, oh, well, as long as you're still under my roof, so I should still be able to. But he knows that I won't go and meet him to ask him for anything. And there are a lot of my bills that he doesn't even know about that I foot. So, you know, that is, in my own case, that's why I said my own is a bit softer, because somehow I'm still within their space. So there are some times out of, you know, being a loving parent. But there are also other times where they may want to foot some bills, and I'll tell them,
Don't worry, I got it.
don't worry, thank you, I got it covered. That kind of thing. Recently, there was time my daddy wanted to start giving, should I use this one as an example? Should I use this one as an example? Well, okay, yes, he wanted to give me money for fuel. Because fuel is expensive and all of that. And in my mind, I struggled with it. I said, I don't want to collect this money. I had to even report it to a few of my brethren and my siblings that this money, I don't want to be collecting. I don't want to collect it, But eventually, they were like, it will hurt him if I don't collect it. So I just looked at it that, okay, no problem. But I know that the money monthly now, there's an amount I give to them. So sometimes I use style to
give the money back
sometimes. So it's just about wisdom on how to handle it. But of course, if you want your independence, you can't expect to go and be meeting daddy and mommy for every little bill that you need to foot. That kind of.
I'm sorry, I have a question to concern this financial aspect. So trust fund kids, let's say you just come from a wealthy background, your parents have money, and so your account is always loaded. So what advice can you give that kind of believer that wants to, detach from
they can't collect the money back, it's already in your account.
I would say that, for example, I'm not saying that my parents are all wealthy, but I'm not too far from there, because my parents, they still work, so they earn quite a good, but even with that, you don't plan with your parents' money. You don't plan with your parents' money. You don't, especially if you really want independence, because there's a way of life that they are used to, and they brought you up with that way of life. You have to be ready to live that way of life, because you may not be able to maintain it. It's just like because I like I said earlier, I have the experience of staying with brethren. I have the experience of staying with my sister. I have the experience of staying alone, like when I was in school, and then also staying with my parents. So when I was not really at home, when I wasn't staying in the house, yes, I know that they have money. I know that they have all those things. But you won't see me going to meet them to collect money because I know that they have money. No, it was part of the decisions I made. But no, there are times that when I was staying with brethren, I remember, some of my wonderful sisters that many times, sometimes we'll not have food in the house. We'll manage. It's only occasionally, maybe I may just go and visit them. Of course, when I'm going back, carry some foodstuffs and all of that. But
it's your rights.
But many times we will, amongst ourselves, we will manage ourselves because we know the decision that we have made, that we took. Yeah. So you don't. So even if you come from a wealthy background, as it were, you should also be wise to. Because the kind of parents I have, they can want to sponsor you till even when you're in your husband's house. Pay your house rent, do everything. Yes, because by the grace of God, Lord has blessed them that way. Yeah. But you have to be wise. You have to be wise. And especially when, this is even as a single, when you now get into marriage, if you don't do it early, when you get into marriage, do you plan that, okay, because you're coming from a rich family, once there is no food in the house, you are going to go and call your parents, or you can't pay your house rent. Mommy, please, I can't pay my house rent. Please give me. No. If you don't start doing it now, then you'll be too weak to do it later.
Wow.
In my opinion, I just think that it's the mindset, whether you are trust fund kid or you are not, is the mindset. If you made up your mind that you want to live on your own, you want to leave home, then you should be willing to go through the consequences of not being at home. Maybe you grow up having to eat meat morning, afternoon, night. You should be willing, as in that mind, you're already being you right now if you are hearing me. That you want to do 101. 101 is even for rich people. Do you understand? You can eat food without meat, spag. You can eat spag without meat.
Yeah,
you can eat all of those things. Do you understand? You get used to eating things that are not what you eat at home.
Egg now is luxury.
Let's not talk about egg.
200 naira for one.
You can't even boil
egg for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Guys, you share the egg into two. Get used to it. I mean, that's what you want to do.
No, but has anybody bought light recently?
God.
See, when I was growing up, right, we're used to having NEPA lights and all of that. Yet, like, turn on the outside. My dad is always security conscious. Lock the door, turn on the outside light, turn on the lights there. Let there be lights in the compound surround. In my house now. Off it. Off the lights
during the day.
Why is the light on during the
What's
day?
the song for?
Because when you pay NEPA bills, or have you bought gas?
Wow.
Like, you go and buy gas. You hear, let's say you buy. Let me even cast my house because we have a 12 kg gas. The last 4 times we filled the gas is 6 kg we fill with no fill. Because you bought gas today. Let's say they call this 6,000. And then it finishes after like 1 month, 2 months because my brother's house, when they two cook like that. And then you go and buy the next time it's 7,000.
7,000.
And you're buying the next time it's 8,000. Like, it's almost as if you should have bought the full gas the last time. So when you think of those expenses, sometimes you just be like, because if I was in my parents' house, I mean gas. You would just go to the kitchen and cook what you want to
We
cook.
didn't
Like,
even know the amount of these things.
I think there was something I wanted to buy. I had to call my mother that this is how much you're calling me to. And she's like, yes, now. That's it now. I said, like, no. When you think of those financial stabilities financial decisions you have to make on your own.
But then, like I said,
I want to shift
it's
gears.
the mind again, is the heart. For me, like in my experience, when I was making up my mind that I'm not going to be at home, I'm going to leave home, right? It wasn't even really about the availability or non-availability of money, right? There are some needs that I'll have, like Bolu said, there's some needs I'll be like, no, I'm not asking for this.
Yeah.
I mean, because somewhere, if you are going to, maybe in my own case, head a home someday, you need to learn how to believe God in school as a young graduate.
Yeah.
It's not inside your marriage house you come and learn all that one. If not, it's Titanic that is going to crash that you're building.
True.
So I think is
You have to be convinced.
in the face of gas, in the face of light.
I mean,
You to learn to believe God. Your parents believe God. My dad used to tell us that his salary when he was working, his salary as like 28, 29 was, I think it was 48,000.
How did they do
And he will always tell us that it's not my salary that is keeping this family, it's the Lord. And those are things that I grew up here. You need to, it's
Have
not
those
your
encounters.
salary. Then at the end of the day, you need to believe God. That's what I feel. So I don't see any need why somebody wants to
go back home.
Or you are still asking for things like I want to stream our church meeting. They will not take you and your church seriously.
Yeah, true.
You want to ask for data, it's money. Why are they following you?
Every time.
Yeah, that's when they get the right to tell you things like church meeting,
When
meeting.
they are paying your bills.
It's because they are paying for the data.
I mean,
Can't blame them.
like,
Or they are giving you your tiffy.
I noticed that when I started saying, "Oh, I'm going to church," and
I'm
like, bye. Like the one I used to shock them the most, because there was this program I used to go for every Thursday then, and it was at Kitsu. Right, so I was just like, oh, I'm going for this program at K2, and then I'm coming back. I just went down to my 12 and I just bought potatoes, and I'm like,
So we want you to be going
I'm like, you're going next. Don't forget to.
Buy tomato juice.
They just that's when I just knew that no, there are levels
Sometimes you
to
don't need
this
to
thing.
see that you are in
need to-
charge of your
Yes,
life.
actually.
That you are not wasting away.
Because as I am like this now, if I have a child, right, and I'm still buying your data and airtime, like you flash
I
me,
will tell
that
you
call
what to
back,
use it for.
Yes, actually.
I will tell you.
And you say you want to go where?
Go
Okay,
here.
fine.
Come and sit down. So that they will collect this phone for you inside bus. Come sit down.
and you come back and meet
And come and
Come and meet me to buy my phone.
Come back and fly.
Like I buy your clothes. You know those are things. For instance, I don't think that any young they should not be buying your clothes for you.
Wow.
They should not be repairing your clothes.
Well,
You can buy clothes for yourself, yes.
Yes.
Then mommy can say, okay, I went out and I saw this
Ah,
and I
yes,
bought
No,
it.
now.
That's fine.
those are Christmas.
But
no, this was
but,
occasional.
mommy, there's this shows that I saw. Let me and buy it.
Exactly, that one is wrong.
Ah.
Because I feel like there's a way our parents to as much as, yes, you shouldn't be meeting them to buy clothes, for example, and all of those things. But somehow, too, there are some things, that's why you have to do it gradually. Because there are some refusals you will make that you will hurt them. And that's not what you're trying to achieve. You're just trying to gradually let them know that, oh, okay, I'm growing up. I'm now an adult. That kind of thing. So sometimes, in that case of buying clothes, when my dad travels, sometimes he comes back. It's just a gesture.
Why my dad not buy clothes? He will go back.
You have to buy the clothes.
What did you buy for me?
Yes, so he will still buy clothes for me, and I will collect it, and I will be happy. You know. But of course, it's not like my wardrobe is dependent on what he buys.
They say we should buy. Let's say you're in the choir. They say we should buy the choir uniform. Mommy, the choir uniform is too far. Get out of here. No, you should. Those boundaries are good to say.
And when I was in school, at some point, as a man would call, how are you doing? You've not called home for money. I'll be like, the Lord is keeping us. The Lord is helping us. At some point, the money they were sending now felt like honorarium. Let's just fulfill our duty as
parents, right?
Let it not be like
we are not doing anything.
But then it's good to actually draw the line. I just want to push this question a little bit further. So I want to ask you guys: have you guys had any experience whereby you missed out on a thing of God? Like you needed to, let's say, you had, like, let's say, maybe, I don't want to use a church program, but then let's say the Lord led you to do something, and then you could not do it because of your parents' disapproval. You missed out on maybe...
So like standing on your faith?
Not really standing on... Let's say, okay, maybe... Okay, most times it comes with church, right? You find a release to go for probably a prayer conference, right? Or a Bible conference, and then your daddy just says no. And then because of that, you miss out on that experience. Have you had any of those experiences?
On my end, not so much, although there's a particular one that I can think of. But generally speaking, because I use my wisdom tank when it comes to handling my parents always has to be full. So there are many times that I don't allow them to allow me to miss out on what the Lord wants me to do. But at least there's one little experience I have. For example, the choice of where to worship. For example, as much as, yes, I'm a very full member of New and Living Way Church and all of that, but because my parents are pastors, and then they also have their own church. So I, on my own, would have, if you leave me to myself, I'm staying alone, I will not have any reason not to go to my church, my normal church, and I will have been a fool. I won't miss out on the word, I won't miss out on all the Sunday school series, I won't miss out on everything that is going on. I would want to be so much of a part of my church. But on the other hand, because still trying to work in wisdom with them and not neglecting the fact that they also have their own ministry that the Lord committed to their hands, so I also still have to balance it. I have to be there many times. I have to be there many times, as much as so many times I may be streaming the church that I actually want to attend, but I'm physically present in their own church. And of course, there are some times that I feel like I miss out on some things because, of course, I know there's grace available. The Lord understands some of all these peculiarities, but sometimes I feel like I'm actually missing out because, being a part of a church is not just limited to just hearing the word. The company of brethren, you're relating with brethren, and all of those things is part of it. So sometimes I feel like I miss out a bit on that brethren life, because I have to be more there than where I actually really want to be. So that's just one little area. And that one, because I have also discussed it with my pastors and all of, so it's based on instruction. Also, it's not that I feel like I must just be doing it. It's based on the way, after discussing with my pastor, decided, we decided that it is better that we do it like that because we cannot, you don't offend them. You have to honor them too. The Bible says, obey your parents in the Lord. This is right. Your parents in the Lord being your pastors. Then honor your father and mother. So you can't just neglect them and not care about her. You have to give them a bit of, you have to honor them too, so that you will still be in right standing with the Lord.
I think I like what she said about being very wise about how you how you take these matters to them, right? Because the truth of the matter, not everybody has parents who are pastors, who pastor churches. There are some people that your parents don't just trust you to make the right decisions about a place of worship, and then you need to put up some. They need to see that you're spiritually matured, right? For lack of better words, I know that for me, right, I don't attend the church my parents attend, right? I attend another church, and it was a little bit of drama at the beginning, but by the time they saw the way I live my life, by the time they saw the way I live my life, the decisions I make and all of that, I just saw that my parents are asking me, like, talk to your brother. Advise him to go to church. Like, they see the wisdom you portray. And then there are times that there are matters in the house, and then my mom just calls me and says, this is what's going through, this is what's happening. And then, what do you think? Give spiritual advice. What do you think? I had this, and
they know.
They can see
There's a difference.
they can see there's a difference because of the kind of life that you live. And if you keep up with a lifestyle that
This is contrary to
that shows up God, rather, that pushes God forth, that shows it shows that you're a believer, and your parents are believers, they will see it.
Yes.
They will see it.
And your parents are believers, not pastors.
Believers.
Because I think it's a different
difference
ball
when they are
game
pastors.
when they have that responsibility.
being a pastor,
Yes, when they are pastors, because they won't just consider. I have times when my mom tells me things like, "Yes, I know that they are teaching the truth in that your church. You know, I know they are teaching the truth in that your church, but how would people feel?
my parents too.
How will people feel when they are encouraging people to attend their own church and then their own child?"
I remember
You
one
know?
question my mommy asked me, said, so that your pastor now, which church does his own child go to?
Do you get?
I don't want to come from.
So, yes. So I think it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Right? If they are just
Children.
believers, it's easier. But when they are pastors, especially when they are the ones that establish the
Yes. Yeah.
My own mom was like, this
Daddy
church,
Gio.
we gave birth to you in this church. You did children Sunday school in this church.
Dedicated you.
We dedicated you. You did adult Sunday school in this church. Everything you did in this
Baptism.
church. Baptism you did in this church. Now you now grew up. You now want to leave. Yes, sir. That your everything that bring it here also. Come and do it here. Come and do it here. This is your own church. Make it like that your church that you used to attend. So you don't be weak now.
But so I one other thing, as a young adult believer, right? You guys, you have to grow up spiritually, right? You need to be able to discern what the Lord wants for you part time. You have to be convinced that this is what the Lord will have you do. And submitting to spiritual authorities, you cannot overemphasize that. That just pushes me to the very last question. Has anybody had any time where you are convinced that this is what the Lord will have you do, and then your parents are not approving? How did you handle those situations? Because there's a thin line there. You are sure the Lord will have you do this. Then that means you have to obey the Lord. And then there's my parents do not approve. You have to honor your parents. Have you had any of those clashes? How did you handle those?
I think I have one. Now, so when I entered university, I started, do you understand? I became a very, 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 the varies I used. I became a very, very, very serious Christian. Do you understand? Do you understand? I was on fire. Do you understand? I know the kind of fellowship I attended when I was a student. You just need to attend for 6 months. There's this, I don't know if I call it anointing by association or inheritance by association. You just know how to start connecting Ephesians to Colossians. You start catching. I know most people can relate to what I'm saying. Your first holiday at home.
Yeah.
Hey.
When they ask you, children, and they will, I don't know why that always happens. Children's Day, we want you to come. Since you're in university, come and talk to a teenager. After that meeting, and you just feel like you're just repeating what they told you in school. Do you understand? But after that meeting, for me, just after that meeting, one day my home church pastor called me. He said, when are you graduating again? I said, I still have like maybe 1 or 2 years. We're like, so just to let you know that I've already started preparing Bible school form. Like, you need to go to Bible school.
You've seen the pastor.
After you're done, you come and become an assistant pastor in this church. And from here,
Wow, you knew that.
what? Where are we paying to? From here, I just knew that it's not happening. This is not going to happen. So at that one, I had to, because my mom too, just was of that opinion that yes, from the womb. I hope she's not watching. From the womb, the Lord said to me, "My hand is upon this boy."
Glory.
So it's the hand of the Lord. Just when they are convinced that the Lord is saying something, but you know,
there's still like some.
You know what the Lord is saying. Yes, and so that was when I made sure that when I graduate, I'm not coming back to your home church. I use your because I had to sit there telling that I am not coming back. After it was a little bit of an issue around that time, but it had to be done. Yes, it had to be done. I had to stand that no, I am not coming back. This assistant pastor team, no, I want to work. I want to write code and make money. I'm not coming to any Bible school. You get so. Sometimes you just have to. There's a way you have to stand your ground, but in standing your ground, you have to give them reasons that they can relate to.
Yes.
Don't just say, "Oh, what are you doing now?" I'm not doing anything. I'm just following the Lord. For someone that paid your school fees year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, you are following the Lord. We too. We were following the Lord before you came to. We followed the Lord to pay your school fees.
I think that's just it, right? You can literally stay with what the Lord will have you do part time and be able to explain to your parents so they can come into understanding with you. And I'm sure if you can put
Can I just add a bit to?
Please do.
Because I feel like again for a female.
Another WhatsApp group.
Our warfare weapons is not the same. There's a way a guy. Yes, there's a way a guy can stand, but there's a way a female can do her own. So in my own case, the experience I remember, I was going to travel for a particular conference, and then I'd used out to sample because the Lord had told me before I was even asked to travel. The Lord had told me already, like some months before, that I would go for this conference. So I was convinced. I knew that is what the Lord wanted. But my mom, I used to sample my mom's opinion.
That's
what
sampling.
What if? Well, because I know that how much she hates that place. Like I'm like, and she doesn't want to hear anything about the north. Like she's like, where they kill Christians, where any little thing, those kind of things. So I already sampled her opinion that okay, what if work even wants to carry me? They say, is there only one work for my daughter? That kind of thing. So I already sampled her opinion, and I already knew that she was not going to have it. So when I was now called upon to go for the program, I was now told officially that I'll be required to go for the program. It was a church program. So what I did, because I first told I had to just tell my pastor that, I don't think I will be able to. That maybe I should not just tell them and just look for a way to not be in the house for that period, so that they don't necessarily need to know where I'm going. But then my pastor, because our pastors are wise, that's why a Christian should not be without spiritual authority. And my pastor said, no, you won't do that. That as a lady, you won't do that. That instead, let's wait on it, let's pray about it. Of course, we know that the Lord wants you to do it. And your parents are also believers too, So we waited on it for maybe like a month or two. He said I should just be praying about it. So I prayed. And in fact, that period, I know I exercised myself spiritually. I prayed and prayed and prayed. And then lo and behold, the day I was now going to go and tell them that I was called upon to go for this conference, and that I wanted to let them know that I'll be going. And I said, you're an adult. You can make your decision. Go now. What's stopping you? Just go and tell your mom you're an adult. You can go. Wow. So when I told my mom to the same expression, she was like, well, you're an adult. I was shocked. Do you get? I was shocked because I was even thinking I'd already planned my speech. I was already thinking of the way I would
like when you bring this point, how you counter.
Exactly. I'd already thought about the possible things and how I would answer those questions. I didn't even have to talk too much. And the Lord just, I didn't know that He had gone ahead of me to soften their heart. So as Christians also, there's also a way you can handle it. The Bible says that wisdom is better than weapons of warfare. So there's also a way you can handle certain things without being a fighter, without being aggressive. You can use wisdom, and then of course when you pray about things, if the Lord knows that you ought to be a part of a particular thing, or there's what the Lord wants to have you, there's what the Lord wants you to do. When you pray about, when you involve the Lord, you talk to God about it and all of that, and of course submit to spiritual authority. If truly you are supposed to do that thing, I believe that the Lord He has His ways. It's either He will give you wisdom on how to avoid issues, He'll give you wisdom on how to go about it, or He would have softened their heart ahead before
Beautiful.
it.
I think that's just it.
Although I also think that sometimes maybe you might also, particularly in this case scenario where it is the Lord that has put something in your heart, sometimes you may actually even need to guard what the Lord is saying to you. Because I feel like sometimes when you present it the way it is, that, I'm going for a 7-day church meeting.
No wisdom.
Without the wisdom that sometimes it can backfire.
Very true.
You don't have a good job. The way they can list out your CV. You don't have a good job. 4 years, NYSC. There's no yes, you understand? Maybe there's no person that you are bringing, but you want to go for a 7-day church meeting. Okay, what are you doing with your life? So sometimes, right, you may need to now. You may need to quote it. Not the way Samuel did that is David anointed. You may need to quote it I remember there was a time I had to leave, I had to go somewhere. I had an ulterior motive. I wanted to attend the church program. But everybody was at home. It would be weird because I think someone had said, if I remember properly, it was even during that COVID. Like, where are you going to? People are dying. So I just said, and then I'm not an advocate for that, for lying also. I just called someone that, there's this tutorial I want to collect from you. It's not like I really need it like that too. But I want to collect it from you. So, and I told them at home that there's this course I want to take, this Udemy course I want to take, right? My hard drive is here. It's just that the person I want to collect it from is at maybe Akoka or something, so I need to go. Yes, and when it comes to things like that, like, you have a vision for the future. You are aspiring to Maguire. You understand? So there's a way to be like, he knows what he's doing. You understand? But if I just come,
sometimes
I'm going for brethren get together. There's a way to be like,
There are sometimes that I also feel like you have to be proactive too. Because if they see that you are just anywhere, they won't. I remember before I got a job.
So many experiences.
Before I got a job, I wanted to go for a particular Christian conference. But I knew that I'd not gotten a job. If I was going to go and tell them that I'm going for this 7-day conference, they will not hear it. So what I did, like a few weeks to the conference, I started going out every day. I'll tell them, I'm going to submit my CV. I'm going to submit my CV in different places. I'm going, they said that. Do you get? So I became hyperactive looking for a job. So they saw that thing in me, reason I'm going to look for a job. Even though it's not every time that I actually went to submit my CV. But there are some days I went to submit my CV, then I branched to the veteran's house, that kind of thing. But I went to submit my CV. Do you get? So by the time it was not time for me to go for the conference, it was not a case of, you're not even thinking about your life. You're not even kidding. No, they saw that. I said, well, the Lord has not brought it here. We keep serving the Lord. That kind of thing.
However, there's a conference here.
Did you get? So sometimes you have to be proactive. You need to don't make them feel like you don't have a plan for your life. Sometimes they will ask you, what's your plan for the next 5 years of your life? Even if you must have plan. That we know we are following leading us, but you can't tell them that. You need to tell them that, yes, I actually believe I will go and do my master's, I will go and do this. You need to just do it. You are not lying. It's possible. If the Lord will allow you to do those things, you will do it. Do you get? But don't make them feel like you are just an NFA, no future. That's when they will be more concerned. It's a sign of immaturity. And of course, don't feel bad when they tell you no, because you are not mature enough for
today has been impactful. Today has been really full, very, very full. I think this is the longest we've ever had our IG live series.
Thank you, Chips and Bolu.
So we'll be wrapping up pretty soon. We want to thank our viewers and listeners for staying through to this very moment. Please don't forget to.
They have dragged in the comment section.
Please don't forget to listen to the rebroadcast for those that came tuned in late on Monday by 8 p.m. And please subscribe, share, and let's do what the Lord will have us do in this season. It has been a blessing. Thank you, Chips, for coming. Thank you, Sister Bolu.
Thank you, Bolu. Thank you, James.
Thank you, James.
Thank you,
I really enjoyed myself. So see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.